Dear friends, Salve Maria. As many of you have already seen, the number of fascinating miracles that we have shared with you all throughout our programs are not a few. The cause behind so many of them have been inexplicable, that some of the very scientists who had investigated them, although atheists, have not failed to attest to their miraculous nature. But would you like to hear a miracle that was performed by one of the greatest saints of our times? So join with us to know about another marvel of our beloved Saint Padre Pio. Gemma di Giorgi was a little girl who was born on the Christmas of 1939. As it was natural, the family was so happy to embrace their little daughter as a real Christmas gift. But what caused them a tremendous sorrow was that when she reached 3 months of age, the mother felt something strange about the child. She was taken to a doctor and he found out that she was born without pupils. The Di Giorgi family accepted the child with the warmest affection. As she was with no pupils, it was quite obvious that she would never recover her sight. Everything appeared to be hopeless, but when everything seemed to be out of any hope, something interesting happened. A nun told Gemma's family members to visit a holy friar who was famous for the miracles granted through his prayers. He was a Capuchin priest who lived in San Giovanni Rotondo. It is not something difficult to guess who is this monk. It was none other but our great Saint Padre Pio. So they sent a letter to Padre Pio explaining her situation and requesting for his prayers. Then one night the nun dreamt she saw Padre Pio coming close to her. He said, "Where is Gemma, for whom so many prayers are being offered that it almost deafens my ears?" The next day, the sister received a letter from him assuring her of his prayers for Gemma. After this, she wanted the family to visit Padre Pio with Gemma, but the family couldn't make the long journey many years. Anyhow, Gemma's grandmother took the 7-year-old child one day to the Rotondo monastery. On the way, Gemma told that she was able to see something around her. Her grandmother thought that perhaps she was imagining it, but they began to pray together for the miracle. When they at last reached the monastery, the two received the sacrament of confession from the holy friar. In the confessional, Gemma's grandmother explained about her granddaughter's eyes. She asked Padre Pio for a miracle. Gently he replied, "Do you have faith, my daughter? The child and you should not weep, for the child can already see." Gemma then received Holy Communion from Padre Pio. Afterwards, he blessed both her eyes with the sign of the cross and said, "Be good and saintly." Gemma and her grandmother returned home. And what was the surprise? All the family members realized that now Gemma was seeing things clearly. Immediately, Gemma's mother took her to an eye specialist. Gemma's beautiful eyes still did not have pupils, but no one could deny the fact that she could see now. The doctor who examined her could not believe his eyes. He said, "Without pupils, one cannot see, but the child sees. It is a miracle." Many other doctors came to examine Gemma and all had to conclude the same thing, that her ability to see things without having pupils was purely a miracle. Besides the very fact of the miracle of Saint Padre Pio, we can also take a very beautiful lesson out of this fact. As we are human beings with intelligence, our nature is much above the rest of the creation except for the angels. However, our intelligence is not able to understand completely things that belong to the supernatural sphere. But when we receive the sacrament of baptism, we receive the virtue of faith that enables us to believe all that the Catholic faith teaches us. Isn't this itself a miracle? I dare to say that it is a greater miracle than to restore sight to a child who even does not have pupils. But are we convinced of this grace with which we have been blessed? Do we make any effort to grow in our knowledge of the truths of the faith? I know that many of you who are watching our programs have a certain desire to know supernatural truths of our faith. But we should question ourselves at this very moment. I should ask myself whether, while watching this video about the miracle of Padre Pio, was I only interested to see a miracle, wishing to gain a mere personal benefit, or just to gain some satisfaction or a consolation? Or did I have a burning desire to know more about the heavenly realities with a great enthusiasm to acquire sanctity? Have I grown more in my love towards the Church? Many of us are prevented to rise towards the celestial things due to the modern lifestyle. Many of us are tense with the busy work schedule. Some of us have been dragged by addictions to television and mobiles. So many among us are blinded with sin. There are some others who take a further step, not only committing sins, but even formulate certain wrong ideas that are directly against the faith and many times justify their sinful lifestyle. Therefore, let us ask the Blessed Mother to intercede on behalf of us, to grant us a new sight if we were blinded with a worldly lifestyle or sin. Let us ask Saint Padre Pio to grant us the grace and to intercede on behalf of our society, blinded with atheism and sin, so that a day shall come when there shall be one flock and one shepherd, where there shall be a society impregnant with Catholic principles. Therefore, if you like this video, please do remember to share with all your loved ones. May God bless you. Salve Maria.